Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode with the North Alabama Outdoor Sportsmen. I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
We're going to interview a man that I had the opportunity to hunt with a few seasons ago, and I learned a lot from him, just the little bit of time we spent together in the woods, and we really look forward to bringing this to y'all.
Yeah, tonight's guest is Mr. Tommy Stanley, very avid
hunter in general, but he taught me more about the bow season than I'd ever learned, and I figure everybody can take a lot from this episode.
And while we're on here, a couple of shout outs. Thanks to Steve's Outdoor Solutions for the blind back here. I bought it. Great quality. Go to stevesoutdoorsolutions.com, check out his products. Super nice guy. If you hadn't saw his podcast, look at our last one. He's on there. Listen to his story. And we hope you enjoy tonight's podcast, and let's get into it. Hey, Tommy, you with us?
Yes, I am.
We appreciate you spending some time with us tonight in our Hunter's Lounge. How about telling our viewers a little bit about you, and we'll get started.
I was born in South Cullman County, but lived here my whole life. Grew up hunting and fishing. My dad, we hunted and fished ever since I was big enough to walk, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So he was the one that got you started, I'm assuming, then?
Yes. He was a big hunter and fisherman. Yep.
Okay. Well,
you usually clean our deer rifles or shotguns and put them up and get the crappie rods out.
Hey, that sounds like my kind of person right there. We're all about that. We jump from hunting into fishing and then back and forth, so we do stuff year round, so that's awesome. So how many years you been hunting? We don't want to throw your age out there, but
I'm pretty old.
Yeah.
I've been probably hunting for probably 55 years.
All right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Before we get into the Q&As and stuff, let's just do a little bit. Do you have a particular hunt or that's probably one of your most memorable, whether it be from the kill or who you were with or anything like that?
I've been doing it my whole life. I get excited when I shoot a doe. I guess some of my best memories, was when my son was about 8 years old on a ute hunt. He got his first buck, on an afternoon, and we went back to the same stand the next morning. There's a buck with him, and he harvested that second buck the second morning. So he had a good opening weekend ute hunting.
Well, that's awesome. That's the kind of stories we like to hear about.
Yeah.
So,
my daughter, she lives in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and she's got a boyfriend, and he'd never hunted, and he come down last year, and I set him up out here in the yard. I got a shooting bench and taught him how to shoot a 30-06, and took him to a shooting house the first evening. He got him a doe, and the second evening we went back, and he got him an 8-point. So he had a good weekend.
Well, dadgum, we just need to get a few lessons from old Tommy over here. So that's awesome.
With you hunting 55 years and learning from your dad, have you seen a lot of things change throughout that time?
Oh yes, When we first started hunting, there was very few deer down here in the south end of the county. Now it's heavily populated. And we hunted with dogs, hounds, old black and tans and red ticks. Yep, and we're right here by the mulberry, so first thing, you got about 5 minutes and they go into the river. They're going to be in Blount County or Walker County.
I got you.
And then we evolved and got into the short-legged beagles. They just, they sort of just walk real fast with the nose on the ground. The deer stand and watch them run 100 yards in front of them, turn around and look at them. Yeah. So, especially in cutovers.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, we evolved to that. And then about 1989, I got into bow hunting. Bought my first longbow.
Right.
And old Fred Bear.
Yeah.
So, that's when I started bow hunting. And now I'm a little bit older and got a bad shoulder, so I'm glad they do have crossbows. A lot of people don't like them, but some people like me that's a little older, bad shoulder, can't pull a compound anymore. It's a way to be in the outdoors.
Absolutely, yeah. This is my first year with a crossbow. The old bodies wore out, and I had to injury a few months ago, and I just wouldn't feel confident being up in a tree or anything with a compound bow. So, but you know, on our channel, if it's legal, we support it. So we don't really care what people think, regardless of handicap or age or anything. If you're happy with it and it's getting you in the outdoors, then we 100% support it. So
That's right. I'm the same way.
do you prefer bow hunting over gun hunting, or does it matter?
I like them both. Yeah. I'm just glad to see it open. I'm headed to Kentucky in the morning. Me and my wife, we're going to go do some scouting. I can go up crossbow hunting up there on the LBL and some Corps of Engineers land next weekend. So I've got cameras out. I've been up 3 times already and got some pretty good pictures. So we're going to check cameras and maybe put a tree stand in a tree if I can find some good acorns dropping.
Well, that's awesome. And, you know, we'll just go ahead and throw it out there. We wish you the best of luck. And
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that buck.
yeah. So,
well, I appreciate it. Yeah, this will be my 3rd season up there. So I'm about to figure it out.
Yeah. Have you harvested one in Kentucky yet?
Yes, I got a 9-point the first year I went. Last year I ate a tag, but it was a bad year. There was no acorns, and I just didn't see anything big.
Okay, well, since you brought that up, let's kind of roll into our first question.
Okay.
How do you go about
with a bunch of acorns on the ground this year?
Yeah, what's your strategy going to be this year, since there's an abundance versus like last year when there was very few?
And when we were scouting at that hunting club, you look for a specific tree the first week of season, which would be October 15th here. I'm sure it's different up there. And then you said 10 days later you was going to move your stand to another tree, and we went and scouted for that tree, and then we went and looked for another tree. So kind of walk our listeners through how you go about all that.
Yeah, how you decipher?
Early bow season, water oaks will fall first. Water oaks, pin oaks, and your red oaks will fall pretty quick with your water oaks. So find you some good water oak trees. They'll already be on them eating them. And what I look for when I'm looking under trees, I like to find, 4 or 5 clumps of deer crop, whether it be doe or buck,
Right.
And if you got a lot of deer using a tree, that's a feed tree. You can climb, and most time you're gonna see deer.
Right.
So I hunt the water oaks, and I've proved it. I've got a white oak I set in. I hunt out of during bow season, and the ground's just covered. And I got a water oak about 70 yards from there. They walk right by my tree stand under me in this white oak and go over there and eat the water oaks. A lot of people might not believe it, but I watch it every year.
So they're going past the white oaks for the water oaks.
Yep. They just walk right through them white oaks. They may grab 1 or 2, but they go spend time under that water oak tree. They just walk round and round. Yep.
Now, do you hunt those throughout the whole bow season, or do you switch to another tree?
Yeah, when the white oaks get to falling real good, they will pull off of the water oaks. But like I say, the water oaks is usually the first ones hit the ground, them and the red oaks. So, if you can find you a good red oak tree or water oak tree with a lot of droppings under it, while you're scouting and hunting somewhere to put a stand, that's where you want to hunt first. And then usually about the 3rd week of bow season here in Alabama, you getting towards November, your white oaks is heavy on the ground, then they sort of move towards them. So I'll hunt water oaks and red oaks the first part of bow season, then I move into the white oaks. And your white oaks, like this year, we're going to have a bumper crop. They're going to be everywhere. They're going to feed on them the rest of the season. And during bow season, you got to look. They're not in the rut or pre-rut, They're just, you hunt the food source. You got to find what they're eating. And if you've got a good green field, I don't hunt green fields in the morning, evenings. You'll see deer. The does are going to come and graze the grass and then go to the acorns.
Okay. So, like last year, with there being a shortage of acorns, did you still pretty much stay on the same path and just hope, for less amounts of acorns, but you still hunted the same pattern, or did you change it up?
The red oaks carried them last year.
Right.
That's about the only acorn I had on my place was red oaks. I got sawtooth oaks planted everywhere, just little patches of them.
Mm-hmm.
There was none of them, but there was a few red oaks, big red oaks that would have acorns. And they eat them most of the season. So you have to find Yeah, you just have to hunt their food source during bow season.
Right.
Rifle season, things start moving. Your bucks will start coming into rut. Your young ones will start running first, making lots of rubs and scraping every road and ridge top around.
Right.
Yeah, but here in South Cullman, usually right around Christmas through the first week of January is when they're in the full rut, when they're in the chase, and about the second week of January they're doed up, I call it.
Right, I got you.
Yeah, then about the last week of January and the first few days of February, the does that didn't get bred usually cycle back in, and we have another pass through here in South Cullman County about that time. It's going to vary wherever you live.
Okay.
Northwest Cullman County, their bow season opens early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say to have the northern strain, but
right. Okay. Do you run any trail cameras or anything like that?
yeah, I've got 11. So, yep. Yeah, I've got them right now. The main thing I've got them on is some mineral licks. All summer long, when it's hot, they're going to go to that mineral. And a lot of people don't put it out till right now. Well, they're fixing to be through using it in about a month.
Okay.
Once it turns cold, they quit hitting the mineral. I put my mineral out in when season goes out, I usually put 50 pounds. And I got 2 mineral licks, and I put 50 pounds in both of them, and they get the spring rains. And then I'll buy a bucket of Lucky Buck. It's got a real strong, attractive aroma to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put through the summer. I think I'll put 3 buckets on top of my main mineral.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is it just on the ground or is it on the stump or what?
In the ground. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got one big as a truck hood, and I got pictures of 8 points standing in it that looks like they're laying down. You can just see their neck and heads. They beat it down the ground. Got what I call cow pasture trails going off into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
After the bow hunting or the acorns, do you change tactics as far as it's gun season now, or the pre-rut? How do you go about all that?
How'd I go about that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm hunting private land, and I've been on it my whole life, so I know the ridges they run, and where they scrape one year, there's going to be scrapes the next year, whether it be the same buck or different bucks. A lot of people, I've hung cameras on scrapes and had 8 different bucks visit it within 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
when they're in the pre-rut and the rut.
Okay.
Was that
How'd I go about hunting?
Yeah. Was
Well,
that?
in the evening, especially close to the rut, I'll sit on a big green field. A bigger green field, or if you have a long, narrow green field, they tend to like those pretty well. But yeah, I'll hunt a green field in the evening. In the morning, I'm going to be in the woods, usually on a ridge that, they travel well. And they'll be coming from a bedding area or going to a bedding area. So if you kind of have an idea of where your bedding area is.
Okay.
Kind of in the transition. On the scrape, you said you had 8 bucks within 2 hours. Would you say that's a community scrape? A bunch of them is using it, or?
Yes, lots of scrapes is like that. You'll get pictures of multiple bucks on scrapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's community scrape. Those big ones that cover up go across a whole logging road. You say, my goodness, yeah, you got multiple deers coming and using that, scraping in it,
And see,
leaving their scent. There'll be one dominant buck when he comes in the area. He'll take it over. He'll take the doe in heat. He'll come to her and take her.
we kind of found out on our club this year. I think we had 10 shooters on one scrape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you hunt around that scrape, or would you just hunt between the bedding and the food, like you said?
Well, if you got pictures and they're using it, you're getting daylight pictures, yes. You want to be downwind from it, but when they're in rut, they're subject to come from any direction. They just roam and hunting does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll get within 40, 50 yards of one. You don't want to be right on it, and make sure your wind's going to be blowing away from it. Or if you got definite trails, you can kind of tell where they're coming from, back off of it.
I got you. All right.
That's the way I do it.
Do you take moon times into consideration or anything?
I do. Yep. Yeah, when it's a full moon, you're going to have midday movement. Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I watch a moon chart. I do.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the ones we talk to, the majority of them take it into consideration. We've had a few that said they just don't pay no attention to it. Of course, just about anybody's going to bring up the full moon.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
now
You can sleep late on a full moon, get up at 8 o'clock, and go out there at 10 o'clock and set to 2, and you don't have deer movement.
Right.
I've proved it many times.
Well, we follow the moon all during deer season and everything, so we take that in consideration. And of course, I personally like to hunt bottoms, and so forth, and so you're constantly, of course, you're looking for sign, you're looking for that, hopefully that scrape or the community scrape, and then you're dealing with the thermals and everything. So it's we've took it in our day and age with the technology that we have and the resources we have. It's got a little bit more scientific, and you can step back though, and sometimes you feel like, wow, we're not killing as many as we used to, when by God, you just went out there in the blue jeans and the flannel and set up and went after it. It seems like technology's advanced, but deer are smart, so they seem to advance along with us.
Yeah, they pattern you on a four-wheeler side-by-side truck driving in. They pattern you just like we pattern them. You're driving into their back door or their backyard or your backyard, like your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
They know if you're there or not. So
yeah,
they'll pattern them and pattern you.
We got some does that's probably 7-8 years old, close to where we live, and they know exactly what's going on. They know everything. It's far as people coming in, when we're coming in, and so forth. So
and every time we record one of these episodes, they're back here behind us.
Right.
Well, literally, the last two, I believe it's the last
three,
podcasts that we've recorded. While we're recording, my camera behind my little building here would go off, and with one of our guests, it just kept going off like crazy. And I've got pictures of this one doe, and she's just like facing the camera, but her ears were straight up, and we're like, yeah, she's listening to the podcast and listening to our secrets.
Yeah.
That's right.
She's tempting us.
Yeah, they pattern us just like we do them. And the best thing about a deer, the worst thing you got to watch is the wind. A deer, I know all y'all probably seen it sitting in the woods or fields. Deer will walk in sight and it'll throw that head or that nose up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
There's thermals and your scent is traveling.
Right.
So a young man, the higher you can get, the better off you are. A few years back, I'd climb 30, 35 foot. Now I get up there 20, 25 foot, I'm holding on to that tree.
Yeah, trust me, I understand. I'm there with you.
Yeah, but the higher you get, the better off you are, especially in the bottoms. Your wind sometimes tends to swirl.
Absolutely.
So it'll be blowing one direction 1 minute, and 5 minutes later it's blowing a different direction.
Right. So I take it you like, of course, you got private land, but you also like to hunt public land as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do?
Yeah, public land, I'm getting off the beaten path. I'm walking a little further than the average Joe will. The 9 point I killed, my buddy had an Alp on his phone. We drug him 1.2 miles.
Right.
So, yeah, you got to get off the beaten path.
That's one thing I remember about you. You like to walk.
Yeah, I'm gonna know where you need to. Anytime you're walking in the woods, you need to be looking for last year's rubs. Year rubs, because they don't walk the same areas most times. Bucks travel year after year. Generation after generation, they're gonna have the same travel route. So if you've got rubs that's been there for trees big as your leg down to little saplings big as your pinky finger, you got deer. Bucks been moving through there for years. Look for old rubs.
Mm-hmm.
During the pre-rut, usually it's around about the second week of December around here. You go to seeing lots of rubs going and showing up.
Right.
Yeah. You'll see your small rubs first, and then all of a sudden, about the week before Christmas, you'll see them big as the upper part of your arm. That's what I'm after.
Right. If you don't mind sharing, what's your biggest buck you've ever shot?
Probably whitetail deer is going to be probably low 140s.
Well, that's nothing to shy away from right there.
Yeah, that's Cullman County deer.
Right.
How many do you think you've killed over the years?
Oh Lord, I quit counting.
I had to throw that to you. You send me the pictures, but I'm just trying to get the listeners.
Well, 40-something years. I mean, I think he stumped him on that one. He's in it deep on this one.
He usually takes out.
I quit counting several years back,
All right.
and I had 110. I don't know how many years ago that was.
Right.
For years, I hunted down in South Alabama. You know, I killed 10, 12 deer a year.
Right. Right.
It's a lot bigger herd around here. Every year, I average, 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Most time, I'll have at least 2 bucks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some good ones at that. You
Yeah,
shared the
I've
pictures.
shot a few decent ones.
Yeah.
I've got 6 mounted, Kim said.
Okay.
8. I've got 8 mounted.
8 mounted. All right, you brought up when we asked you about the number about whitetail deer. What other kind of deer hunting have you done?
I've been out west. I've hunted Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico. I killed a mule deer in New Mexico with a 25 1/4 inch inside spread.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just an 8-pointer. They call it a 4x4, but
Right.
it's got tine length 16 inches.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's big. And then I went to Colorado in 2001 and killed my first bull elk. It's a 5x5. Gateway, Colorado.
Okay.
On public land. All this is on public land.
Right. Right. So that's some memorable trips then you guys.
Oh, yeah. I went out west from about 1997 to about 2004. I went for a few years there. Every year we'd plan us a hunt. And, sometimes we'd have a mule deer tag and elk tag.
Okay.
And then, like everything else, the prices kept going up, and then you just buy one. And I always wanted a elk, so usually stuck with the elk tag.
Right. Right. Yeah, me and Chris, we got offered to come to Pennsylvania and hunt, so we may look into doing that next year. We got from public land here, and then we belong to a hunting club and stuff like that, which tomorrow's a work day, or Saturday, so
Yeah.
this weekend's shot. But anyway, but we got plans of trying to do a little bit of out-of-state hunting and all that, but so, we're looking forward to that. Of course, it'll be next year. We got a lot of stuff planned, coming up and everything with the group and all that, so.
Right.
I always ask all of them, you may not be, are you a little Debbie man?
I used to be. I've been diagnosed as a diabetic, so I had to throw her away.
Oh, so well, back when you could enjoy that, would you say you're an oatmeal cream pie guy or a Christmas tree cake hunter?
Oh, Christmas tree.
Everybody's Christmas tree. That's awesome. Everybody's Christmas tree. Yeah,
Hard to beat.
I just have to throw that in there and find out. I think I only had one podcast guest that didn't eat them at all.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I know, right?
He wasn't American, was he?
He's a good guy, but we kind of hazed him a little bit because I was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah, that's right.
Anything you do different, say hunting private versus public? You said you walk a lot more, but as far as the scouting and the setting up, do you like scout the hunters too, or the access, and kind of use that pressure? Or?
Right. Yeah, I'll backstand people and let them, because I know people like to walk. Yeah. I'll look how people set up where vehicles are, and then I'll find a back way in. Or I just go deeper than they do and let them get up and go to walking. Most people's going to set to 9:30 to 10:30, and then they're going to get out and stretch legs, walk around a little bit, and a lot of times they'll bump deer over you. Yeah, I use other hunters.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up, like I said, we grew up dog hunting, and we had backstand a hunting club. Well, it wasn't a hunting club. It was National Forest land, Talladega National Forest down in Bill, Chilton, and Dallas County, and Perry County. and there's a big club. It'd be 50 to 80 trucks, and we'd ride through, and then we'd go get out in a different area, and they'd turn their dogs loose, and it seemed like we always killed their deer.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, Daddy called it backstanding. We're going to go backstand them.
Well, hey, there you go.
Old timer.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the stories and the memories is, you know, sometimes surpass the actual harvest, in my opinion. You know, just getting to spend time out in the woods and everything. Let's jump on a little bit different subject. If you had someone, whether they're just wanting to start hunting or they're new to hunting, whether they're a youth or anything with that, what advice would you tell them to do to be as successful as they possibly could?
Well, number one is safety. You got to teach them how to respect the gun, because if an accident happens, sorry ain't gonna take it back. Number one is safety. You got to teach them how to handle the gun or the bow, whichever it is, and that's number one. And then, especially if I'm gonna take a youth with me, you got to make it fun for them. It can't be all serious.
Right.
Yeah, they got to have a little bit of fun. I used to take my kids. I've got shooting houses when they were small. They had these little games you could put on silent, and I put carpet in the floor, thick carpet in the floor of my shooting houses, and carpet the walls all the way up to the windows.
Right.
And I'd take them with me and put them in the floor of the shooting house. They'd play the games, and when the deer would come out, I'd get their attention.
Right.
Yeah. And one time, my daughter, she had blonde hair, just white-headed, and I showed her and my son deer. They stood up, and both of them sticks their head out the shooting house window, screaming, "Shoot 'em, Daddy, shoot 'em!" I can't get a gun out no window. The youngest head. Then they come back in, they go, "Daddy, why didn't you shoot 'em?"
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, you just got to have fun with it. You can't let it ruin your day. You always got to have snacks.
Yeah.
And tissues. When it's a little bit cold, their nose is going to run. So make sure you got a pocket full of tissues, because if not, they're going to be rubbing it on your sleeve.
Right. Yeah. What about woodsmanship? What would you tell them or what advice would you give them on that?
That just comes by being out there and being with somebody that knows what trees and what to look for.
Right.
Right. Yeah, you just need to go with somebody that knows a little bit something about it. You can look in books and on the computer, and all this technology, like you said, you can find out what a water oak leaf looks like, what a pin oak leaf looks like, red oak, white oak, and just the technology, they could do some looking. They need to know trees and know what the deer is going to feed on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Number one, during bow season, that's when your acorns is just getting on the ground good, and that's their number one food source. They'll leave the corn piles to eat acorns.
Right. Right. Yep. Well, with our group, what we encourage getting youth out and everything, so we really push, for everybody's advice on what they can do and so forth. And also too, we like, especially if they're not financially able, to make them understand that you don't have to watch these commercials and you don't have to have this top-notch, high-dollar stuff to be able to be successful hunting.
Yeah. When I was growing up, we was kind of poor. Them old Walmart coveralls, them old dark green one, pine green, I call it. We'd get a pair of them, $20. They ain't no telling how many deer I've killed in just green.
Right.
I've killed them in blue jeans, flannel shirts. Main thing is being still and being downwind.
Right.
Their nose is their biggest weapon.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Do you
I'm sure everybody's heard them blow, not even be inside of you, and they still wind you.
Yeah, exactly. How do you prep for scent control before you head out? Do you do anything special?
I always use the scent control laundry detergent. I'll rinse my washing machine. I'll run it a cycle, and I'll put extra detergent in it, cause all this scented stuff you wash your normal clothes in, and then I'll use that scent control, and then I've got a big cedar chest cabinet type that I hang my clothes in. Yeah, you want to keep them as scent free as possible.
Right.
And I do use some of that scent spray.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just spray the bottom of your shoes and your clothes. Main thing is your hat and your head. Your head's where most of your scent's going to come from.
Right. Okay.
All the heat comes out the top of your head.
Yeah. Well, probably some people more than others, depending if they got any brains or not, right?
That's right. Exactly. But yeah, I do all that stuff. But you don't have to buy high dollar camo. You don't have to have the $300 to $500 suits.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've killed them in blue jeans and flannel shirts for years. Just old green coveralls. Main thing is being still and being downwind.
Yeah, well, when I was young, there wasn't hardly any like camo you went and bought. A lot of people went to the surplus store and bought old army fatigues and stuff like that, and wore them.
Yep, that's some of the first camo I ever had. Was old green and black spotted up camo. Then Mossy Oak come on the scene, and I started out with that old pattern of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went over to the Mossy Oak outlet over there in West Point, Mississippi, and we went to the second store and we bought some. Man, I thought I was really doing something. I got the Mossy Oak camo.
There you go. That was awesome.
Not to change the subject, but I have a question lingering in the back of my mind. How do you go about looking at the rubs? Do you think it's the height on the tree? Is it the diameter of the tree? Or is it, say, one about the size of your thumb broke off? What gets you excited if you see a rub? I mean, not saying a rub line, but just one specific rub. What tells you that's a good buck?
The diameter and the height.
Okay.
You got a tree. I've never seen a little deer rub a big tree, but I've seen big deers rub little trees, break them off like you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just go up there and just twist their horns up in it. Big deer will hit little trees, but sure enough, know it's a good one. If it's a big tree, and I look from about thigh high up to a little over waist high. If you got one rubbing like that, that's going to be a decent buck. It's going to be a 8-point plus with good set of horns. And I like it to be about probably 3 inches in diameter. That gets my attention around here. Up in Kentucky, I find them, they're big as my calf and thigh.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have no trouble seeing them up there. But around here, you find one, 3-inch diameter, up waist high, skin. You can pretty much bet he's got some horns.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I say, you see a little tree that's just twisted and broke all to pieces, that's more than likely a rack buck as well.
I got you.
Yeah. But I'll hunt a small rub line if they some, broke and destroyed like that. But yeah, if I'm going to hunt a rub line, they're going to be several, bigger than the arm, the upper part of the arm.
And what time of the year would you hunt the rub line, and how would you go about that?
Well, like I say, around here, they usually start hitting them real hard about the second week of December. Yeah, and you can pretty much follow the rubs and figure out the path he's traveling. Just keep walking and you'll spot another one. Most times, sometimes there'll be 4 or 5 right there in sight, and then you'll walk 50 yards and there'll be another one that size. Just keep looking around. And once you find them, try to stay out of there as much as possible, because like I say, that scent, you're going to leave scent, you're going to brush up against trees and everything with your clothes, arms, whatever. And deer walk through the woods sniffing everything. I know y'all have seen it. Yeah, smell the ground, smell every limb. Yeah. So you want to leave as little scent as possible. Once you find that sign, figure out how he's traveling and get your wind directed and back up and pick your tree.
And how do you go about the rut?
Rut? Around here, yeah, you can hunt scrapes. I've dropped any of them in scrapes. But, yeah, they have travel routes. And if you got a green field, the bucks are going to come. They're going to be moving. And what they call the pre-rut, they're on their feet looking. The does some of them are just starting to cycle in. And once that first doe cycles in, that scent's around, and bucks just come from everywhere. And during the rut, I'll hunt all day. I'll set from before daylight till dark, because you see deer just off and on all day, because they're on their feet hunting the does.
Okay. All right.
Is there anything you do different post-rut?
Post-rut, I hunt the food source. In the morning, I'm going to be in the woods close to the bedding area on a good trail. hoping to catch them going to bedding. If you've got a thicket and in big woods, yeah. So look for your trails. And then food source. The colder, the better around here.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got an afternoon, it's going to be in the 30s, upper 30s, low 30s. I'm going to be in a green field because it's going to fill up with deer. And your bucks is run down and they're hungry. And I've killed a few like that, mid-January. Been chasing for a few weeks and run down. They come to the food source.
Right.
Okay, so in the mornings, catch them coming back to bed, and then in the afternoons, hunt the food source.
Yep, hunt the food source. In the morning, if you've got a good acorn crop, stay in the woods. Yeah, they going to hit the acorns. Like this year, we're going to have acorns most of the season if you got big hardwood bottoms.
How do you go about, say, the acorn, say last year when there wasn't many acorns, hunting browse and stuff? What do you look for in that situation?
Cutovers, gallberry bushes, any clover patches you might have, honeysuckles. I hunt honeysuckles. I've got some honeysuckle patches on my place just out in the middle of nowhere. I just throw fertilizer on them in the spring because I dropped deer in them. They graze them just like a grain field.
All right, that's
Yeah,
some
in the
good info.
springtime I'll throw a little triple 13 on my honeysuckles. Yeah.
All right.
Is there...
Post rut, they gonna get real nocturnal except on them real cold mornings. Right at daylight, you can get good bucks, and then in the evenings, I'd hunt a food source, corn pipe on private land or green field. Because them real cold evenings, they gonna feed.
Right. Okay. Well,
Is there...
These evenings we have in the upper 40s, yeah, I stay off the green field.
yeah.
Is there any question we haven't asked or anything you want to tell our listeners that you've learned over the years to better help them out and us too? Anything you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
Not that I can think of. You pretty much talked to me about everything.
Yeah. Well, at least we were thorough, right?
Yeah.
Well, Tommy, we sure appreciate you spending time with us and discussing it. And like I told you, we hope you great success this season.
Look forward to seeing them pictures.
Look forward to seeing
Okay.
that. And
I'll send you some.
Yeah.
maybe, hopefully, after season, we can sit down and have another discussion and talk about how successful, hopefully, we'll all be.
Yep, I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy. Well, like I said, we appreciate it. And good luck. We hope you get a bunch of them and some big ones.
All right, same to y'all. Thank y'all.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Bye.
Well, that wraps up our little podcast with Mr. Tommy Stanley. Hope you learned some valuable information. I know I did.
He tags out every year, and he's going to go to Kentucky and kill one. I already know.
Yeah. He's
He
one.
don't post about it, brag about nothing, but that man, yes.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's a very smart, very successful hunter, but he just keeps it to himself. So one of the unknowns, what we're looking for. So if you know of someone just like Tommy that you'd like for us to interview, or hopefully we can, give us a shout, and we'll be glad to do our best to try to get them on here. We appreciate y'all, and you take care, and we'll see you on the next
And
one.
please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Bam!